Hey, are you looking to evolve to a higher level of existence? To practically harness spirituality and personal growth in a crazy, busy, imperfect world? Then you've come to the right place. My name is Prash, and this is Urban Spirituality, the show which fuses ancient wisdom with contemporary spiritual practices to deliver value-adding tools, traits, and insights to help you live your fullest potential. We always keep it real, featuring authentic, unfiltered dialogue with guests from diverse backgrounds to inspire, entertain, and enlighten all who listen. So get ready for your dose of urban spirituality. Be present and let's dive in. Namaste and welcome everybody to another episode of Urban Spirituality. I am your host, Prash K, coming to you from a unusually warm April Sunday afternoon. I cannot believe the weather is this good in London, England at this time of the year. So we're blessed, but we're actually doubly blessed because I have in the studio somebody who ought not to be anywhere near London, but she is here with us. She is a towering example of feminine power in this world, a much needed female warrioress to lead by example, a spiritual teacher. She is a healer, a gifted channeler. She is the founder of Gathering Sisters and the Transformation Through Sound Academy, as well as a fantastically talented vocalist who I have had the pleasure of hearing and perform with many times, a gifted musician and a leader of many. Please put your hands and hearts together for the highly talented and exceptionally gifted Cathy Edgar.
Thank you, Namaste, Prash.
AKA Maa Shaker.
Yes, I am here.
I'm just being prodded by her. I've got to remember that she channels. So at any stage, you never know where this interview is going to go. Ma, we're so happy to have you here on the show.
Thank you, and what an honor. And, you know, when you asked me to be a part of this wonderful, this podcast you're doing, and to share and to open the doors so people can also come into our world, because some people are so afraid, to touch on the subject of spirituality. So sometimes we're encouraged to actually use an alternative. But I say, tell it like it is. Yeah, because, so many of us we need to know the truth, what's going on within ourselves and our what we call our inner world and our outer world. So important. So I say to people, don't be afraid of what you know, what's inside of you.
Don't be afraid of what you know inside of you.
Yeah.
I think we need to explore that.
Oh yeah.
That's powerful and it's profound. And I dare say you've just probably dropped a bomb that we need to explore a little bit more. So let's start with here. Let's start with where you are. How would you describe your essence? What are you about, Ma?
What am I about? First and foremost, you know me, Prash. I am about love. Typical Libran, I'm in love with love. Yeah, without that, for me, I would struggle. Yeah. Love for me is my essence. It's my power.
It's your power.
Yes.
Is it the power that drives you to do what you do?
It's the power that holds me up.
And what would you say is your mission in this aspect of your life, with love as your background? What is your essence?
My essence, as they say, the truth. My essence is truth. I'm a truth seeker, and I'll always seek out the truth behind love. We see sometimes we misinterpret what love is all about. Yeah, it's a word that's used too easily. But when you really break down what love is, and when people use the term make love, How can you make something that is there all the time? It's always been there.
Backtrack. Just say that again. That was profound.
We use this term, make love.
Make love, right?
Yeah. How can you make something that's already there?
I like that. Wow. That's profound.
Your
love is already there.
Yes.
You're not having to go there and fuel it up. It's there.
It's there. It's there for the taking. It's there. Love. If anyone out there who's listening who's experienced real love, it brings tears. You can't help. That vibration is that strong. Tears flow. You feel this euphoria, this whole... it's almost like your water within just comes straight, gushing out of you. And you think to yourself, oh my gosh. And say, that, as I was told, my child is true love. That's the essence of love. Right?
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
So I hear two powerful driving factors in what you're about. Love and truth.
Yes.
How do they manifest in your current role in life, your current projects?
My current projects. It took me a little while because I thought this as a tongue twister. So my role in life is to help those who are in the know to know what they already know, right? And not to be afraid of it.
Do you feel that, you mentioned not to be afraid of it, do you find that there are others who may not necessarily know because they're too caught up to know what they ought to know?
We're caught up. When you break down someone's process for them, and they always end up, I knew.
They're kind of new.
Yes, we always know.
What you're saying is when you work with somebody.
Yes.
When you've had some time doing some counseling, doing some sessions with them, eventually that penny drops and they realize, actually, I knew this.
Yes.
I knew this.
Yes.
And your role in that is to help to uncover that piece inside them, to help them realize, hey, it was inside you all along.
All the time, because it's like having a suitcase, right? And you pack too much clothing, right? So you've got to take off all the layers and get to, that's really what you need to wear.
That's what you really need to wear.
And so you find that people don't realise how much they get in the way of themselves, and they actually become their own interference. And so, when they come and say, hi, Ma, I've been experiencing, whatever it is they've been experiencing.
Physical, emotional.
Yeah, all those things. And I call the baggage. Okay. So let's have a look at this baggage.
Take the suitcase, come along to see Maa Shaker. Yeah. Open up the suitcase.
Yeah, you'd be surprised though, they won't take the lock off though.
They don't want to take the lock off.
And so it's getting around that process. First and foremost is, come on, I'll help you unlock the key.
That's
right.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that there are everybody's got luggage, right?
Yes.
So we've all got suitcases.
Yes.
Well, what you're saying is, so many of us don't even want to unlock the suitcase.
We don't want to unlock it.
We got the key.
Yes.
Some of us actually may not have the key, but let's put those aside. They could be really lost. But actually, majority of us have the key, but so many people don't want to even open that suitcase.
They don't.
Why do you think that is?
Fear. And sometimes we pack away our fears, and we don't. Once we put that lock on, we don't want to know about that.
It's so true.
All right. So, but when we unlock, I say, come on. Once we unlock that case, I say, right, I promise. Now, if I use the term promise, right, I promise that I'll go through all your luggage with you until you find the perfect garment which is going to fit you, right? That's what I do.
You work with them.
I work with them.
So you're there with them.
Through the whole process.
That's powerful. You just remind me of an interview that I recently done with another very talented and up-and-coming urban spiritual star in London, Rio, also known as J Change, aka the Love Child. And he is a coach and a mentor and a community leader. And he said to me the same point, that he has many clients who feel like they've got to do this all on their own, and they don't want to do it, and it's a fear thing. And when he says to them, hang on, you're not alone, I'll work with you, I have a tribe of people who'll work with you, and we'll do this together. Oh, it's almost like that old African village, Indian village mindset that, hey, you're not alone.
Exactly.
The village is here.
Exactly.
We'll work with you.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's a certain, like a mental disarm where the ego is calmed down.
Yes.
They don't feel that pressure that they can't open that suitcase. And it's like, okay, maybe I could. You're almost giving them permission to open the suitcase.
Yes.
And start taking the layers.
Yeah. And also once they, and also they feel, as people come around me, they feel this instant trust. You see, when your vibration is of truth and love, the trust is already there. You may get some skeptics.
Right,
That
of
say,
course.
She's too nice. I
Of
say,
course.
I am a nice person. I'm a really loving person. But I also have another side to me. But that we call the shadow. Now that shadow is what helps me go to the depths of your own living hell and bring you back through safely.
That tells me that your shadow could have only come about by difficult times yourself.
Oh yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how that shadow came about where you've come from. A little bit about your sort of upbringing and journey, that presumably the knocks that you've had, that shadow has had to endure, that's brought you to this powerful and empowered person who can control that shadow.
The shadow, I'll say my inner girl who got badly bruised, yes, and every form of abuse you can think of I've experienced, so hence I'm well trained.
You've personally, I mean, I'm getting a little teary-eyed here hearing it. You've experienced personal, physical, and verbal and emotional abuse.
Yes, you name it. Rape, sexual, verbal, emotional, discrimination, racism. Yeah.
And you stand a tower, having been through all of that. And what happened when, during those times, fear must have gripped you? How did you contend and overcome that fear to be somebody who can actually go and give others that help?
Do you know, I can honestly say that I never had fear. I always had a sense of protection around me. My protection was music. My protection was the blues.
A great love of yours, I know.
Yes. But when I used to sing, I used it as I was protective in my bubble, and nothing could harm me.
You felt protected with and through music.
Yes.
It was your shield.
Yes, but I also sensed there was something around me protecting me. I just had this knowing. So it was all right, despite going through all of that. It's like, when teenage girls, they boast what happened in the playground. Oh, this happened, and I had a nice time, and I go, I was promiscuous at 5. Beat that one. It soon shuts them up. Yeah. Oh, they stop boasting then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, how can anyone contend with that?
Right. So when, I've always been open about what's happened. And through that openness has helped me to be able to share and to be able to listen and hear, right? But when, I remember I was on a training course and was working with vulnerable children. And the training course was about how to detect if a child has been
abused,
interfered with, yes.
Or interfered with, yeah.
And so I remember watching, and when they said the statistics of 2 out of 3, you know, had been abused. And I had no idea. I had tears. So at the end, the facilitator said, "Catherine, may I have a word?" And she looked at me, she goes, "It happened to you." I thought, wow. So where you think you may be hiding, so transparent.
So what you're saying is
Yeah.
sometimes the suitcase gets opened up by force.
Yes,
That suitcase of stuff
yes,
gets prized open.
yeah.
I want to ask you a question, just to backtrack a moment. All these things, these terrible things that happened to you, you said that you felt no fear
No fear.
and you felt protected.
Yes.
Was there not any remorse? Was there remorse that why was this happening to me, or why did I have to go through that? How did you process that to not end up feeling bitter and guilty? Or did you? Or do you?
No, you know why? I was 5 years old, between the age of 5 and 10, right? And it wasn't until I was 18 that I sat down, I spoke to my dear cousin about what happened. And she said, "You've been abused." 5-year-old, oh, I think it's all fun and games. "No, you've been abused." I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And so when I then went on this journey of really going in, I thought, oh my gosh, wow. So if that inner protection was safeguarding me from feeling the effects of that.
That's a very powerful point, and it really hits home with me a lot. I'm going to be just really honest and tell you that when I was up to the age of 7, I had been abused by a friend of the family. It was a male member of one of my father's friends, and I must have been about 6 or 7. And strangely, I guess I too didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
I just thought Uncle so-and-so was just being friendly.
Yes.
And it wasn't until later on that I recognized that it was abuse.
Yeah.
Somehow or other, my saving grace was the gift of wisdom and philosophy that my mother left me with when she passed away most untimely at such a young age. And she had left me some books, the Bhagavad Gita and other classics from ancient Eastern literature. I remember reading through those in my haphazard way as a uni student about karma.
Yes.
And how there are things known as karmic chains, where people are compelled to do things due to certain traits that have been acquired, not just in this life, but in previous past lives. Now, whether one wants to subscribe to past lives or not, there is absolute credence that a person has traits due to their past, whether it's this or the past life. And what the ancient take on this is that people act according to those traits, sometimes referred to as vasanas or impressions. And I think that liberated me. That helped me to realize that yes, I experienced this abuse. No, it wasn't right, but I accepted the fact that it happened due to that person's propensity to do that.
Yes.
I didn't judge it as right or wrong, but I understood at that moment as a teenager why it happened to me. That person passed on in any case, but it allowed me to recognize that situation, integrate within myself that I don't have to feel bad or dirty or guilty for what happened. And it actually also liberated me from feeling hatred or guilt, because I think that's such a disempowering... I mean, you tell me.
It is, because when it was explained to me, and my cousin, she was awesome, cousin Maria, you're in America, if you hear this, that'd be fantastic. But she broke it down, and to actually, I was hearing her, and I thought, And I realised I was so detached from what happened. But it's for a reason. Because I had to go on that journey of actually start feeling it. But the most remarkable thing about that journey is that I was shown the story. It was like watching a movie on getting inside the actual abuser's head and what goes on in his head and how he had no concept that I'm a child, but he saw my mother was it's like we swapped places. I was the mother, my mother became the child, and I thought, wow. And they said, no, keep watching this movie. And so to see the other side of this, and then compassion started coming, and people, you had compassion, but
for the perpetrator,
yes,
so-called perpetrator.
Yes, and I said because the brain was so wired differently that didn't actually have couldn't grasp the concept that I'm a child, you're an adult. But then did this person actually grow within themselves?
They needed growing. They
Yes.
needed correction.
Yes.
And I think this is an important point that people forget, that you find somebody who's done something really bad to you, and your instant reaction is you want to see them punished.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not the punishment that's as important as the correction. And correction doesn't always occur through punishment, because obviously we see countless examples of
Yes.
people who repeat offend.
Yes.
But correction and helping somebody who is willing, sometimes maybe not very willing,
Yeah.
but to bring them to a point where either through coercion, cooperation, or a little bit of pressure, they realize the errors of their ways. That correction is countless. It's priceless, because that's what would allow them to break their own pattern.
Yes.
And become free of repeating that
Because when
crime.
Definitely, and also through, because I work with a lot of past life traumas and issues and so forth. So I said, how you are in this lifetime is what were you doing in the previous,
No.
right? So people talk
You actually go back.
I go back.
You go back.
I go back. I do timelines. I go right back to the beginning of your timeline.
Right.
And we'll go we'll pick up, where did this happen? Let's find a root, right?
Let's go find the root cause.
Yes.
And have you found that root cause may exist
Yes.
beyond this life?
Yes.
That is to say, from a previous.
Yes. And also, I worked with a group of sisters 6 years. It was a syndicate from past life, and all of them were part of this, what was going on. And when you meet people and then you check the backgrounds, you say, but you all had connections, and you think to yourself, wow. So to be asked from source, this may get a bit too deep for some of you, but just hang tight with us.
Hang tight. We're stretching the urban.
Right.
We're going the spiritual here.
Right. When source asked me, please, would you do this for us? Because if anyone can, we know you can. So I said, okay. Because you see, when someone asks me to do something, I will do it. I won't go, oh, right, maybe. No, I will do it.
Do it.
Because there's absolute trust. And when you have that trust from the divine, oh my gosh, what a blessing. And I remember saying, I'm quite happy just being the protector. And they said, please, because others,
Need more.
Yeah.
And is that, that's a great segue actually, is that the catalyst that drove you on this mission?
Yes.
That you're on now? You're clearly
Yes.
on a mission.
Yes.
I remember following your journey. My first exposure to you was through the music scene, and hearing you sing, and then doing a powerful sound meditation with your voice, only your voice.
Yeah.
Your voice was the instrument, in front of a room of 25 to 30 people. I remember that music was definitely a weapon. For many people, music is their passion. For you, it's not just a passion. Of course it is. But it's a weapon to actually make It's a weapon of mass. I can call it a weapon of mass transformation.
Yes, it's a
Not
weapon
a
of
weapon
change.
of mass destruction.
Yes.
It's a weapon of mass transformation.
Yes.
A weapon of transformation.
Yes.
Through sound.
Yes.
Which is, of course, what you run.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, wow. Before I was blessed to connect with the gongs and the crystal bowls and all the other beautiful instruments, I was told that we are living instruments. And we have to learn to play ourselves.
Play ourselves.
Well. Yeah.
Wow.
And we have to make sure that we keep ourselves finely tuned.
I like that analogy.
Amazing auntie, Georgie. And she said, when you sing, if your arms are in front of you, you're singing to yourself. But if you want the world to hear your message, you best open up. Right? And so, hence, when it comes to expressing truth, you can't express truth by being so insular. Right?
You have to open up.
You have to open up.
But wait a minute.
In the key of E.
In the key of E.
E. I said E unlocks.
In particular.
E.
That's the octave scale, folks. The key of E. 2 up from C. I want to touch on that. My challenge with that is a lot of people hearing this might feel like, okay, yes, we need to tune our own instrument. That is our mind, body, spirit. We have to attune and align our mind, our spirit, and our body. And we hear that a lot. But I think the instant resistance that many of the people I come across is, wait a minute, if I got to open my arms, that's bloody vulnerable. I don't want to open my arms.
Yes.
People are going to attack me. People are going to find out stuff about me that I don't want them to know.
Yes.
People are going to see my mistakes. They're going to laugh at the warts and all. And how does a person overcome that?
Well, see, I will see that as ego. Yeah. The ego will always stop you from opening up. Right? And what happens that, you know, if someone said to me the other day, we need an ego.
Sure, we all need an ego. We're living on
Right.
this material realm, and ego is required to exist.
Then, and then you have, sometimes I love listening to Muji when he said, you know, you let the ego go where it needs to go, you know. That's it. That's Muji's philosophy.
And he says it a lot of times.
Oh,
even when people digress, he brings it back to that.
Yeah. And now as someone said, you know, said you like the female version of Muji, and I said, wow, I go, it's an honor. I said, but there's one Muji, right? And I said, I call him Mr. Love, right? Because his vibration is just huge. I call him Mr. Love. And I said to myself, wow. I said, me and egos don't get on, right? Because I always challenge the ego. When someone said, it's like, I've probably given you this example. When you can have 15 people in a room, right, listening to a nice version of a song which you just sang and everything, and one person will say, it was all right. And you hang on to that one person's comment. Doesn't matter what the other 14 people have said, right? So you hang on to that one comment. I said, but everyone else says you sound awesome. Yeah, but he said I sound rubbish.
You're going to hold on to the one negative comment.
And I said, well, the only reason why you're hanging on to that, you must believe that then.
Right.
You must believe that.
Right.
Do you? Well, no. I go, but 14 people said you sound awesome, but you're still hanging on to that one comment. I go, so there's somewhere, right, someone along the journey who said, you're not good enough.
Right.
And that was a trigger.
Aha. So the penny drops.
Oh. Probably more than a penny.
Okay, so let's keep it real. You're a healer, Ma, and you're sought after, and people do come to you for a lot of stuff, I know. But hey, you're human. Mm-hmm. You screwed up.
Part human.
You're part human. Okay, part human, part angel, part blues songstress. I get that. But going. Even a blues songstress with a voice that would wake Ella up from wherever she is had to have had a few screw ups. Come on. Come on, open up, share up. There's going to be one big screw up. You got to share with us, man.
One of my mottos, right? Here we go. In order to sing the blues, you've got to have lived the blues.
Come on,
right?
Amen.
And you'll hear other people, true blues people say.
Say that again. Say that again.
In order to sing the blues, you got to have lived the blues.
You got to live the blues. You know what was that? What was that song by Sounds of Blackness? Everybody wanna sing my blues. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanna live my blues. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanna live them blues.
No, not
People
at
wanna
all.
Sing the blues, but they don't wanna live the blues.
Yeah, and you always know someone who sings the blues, right? And they're authentic, yeah, because you know they lived it.
They've lived it.
Oh yeah.
Tell
right?
us.
You cannot mock the blues. Yeah. The people, they say, oh, it sounds really nice, but a true blues singer, well, you'll hear it.
Ooh.
You'll hear they're telling their story. Now, my story, wow, the one I was going, this is awesome. Wow, this is what, okay, what's happening? I just got I wanted to say something that happened to me, but they said no, because that wasn't my true epiphany. My true, I have a list, by the way, so if it doesn't come out right, you know, but my true epiphany was when, I'm going to touch on my daughter. When I became my daughter's carer for a while, because she was just struggling with some of the challenges. And she didn't want to be here because she said, Mum, the world is so ugly. And you know, she's a beautiful soul inside and out, but she didn't see that in herself. Now, I had to really step back from being a therapist to being a mum, because that's what she wanted me to be. You know, when she said, I don't want you to be my therapist, I want you to be my mum. And that was the biggest challenge for me, because I'm so used to supporting people, but I had to support her as a mother, and that was the biggest challenge for me.
As distinct to
yes,
a coach.
Yes. And wow. And so when I was
That's a different platform.
Oh yes, definitely. And I was shown a scenario. This is right. Listen, people, when you're shown something and you know it to be right, follow it through. Because when you ignore it, the consequences, oh my gosh. My daughter, she phoned me and she was really struggling. And I had to use all my experiences as a mother, not as a therapist, but as a mother, to persuade her not to end her life. So they showed me a scenario with her actually.
Your guides.
Yes.
Your spirit guides.
Yes.
Showed you almost like a future replay of what could happen.
Yes, of her hanging herself. Now, my lesson was to step back. Oh my God, as a mother, to step back and allow your child to come forward. Right? My God, that was a challenge. I had to step back. And, you know, I was in the bathroom at the time, you know, on the throne. And I was at my phone talking to her. I said, oh, Mons, please. And then, you know, I thought, hang on a minute. She's calling me. I had that vision.
Right.
5 minutes before the phone call.
Of what you
my
saw.
daughter. Yes. And my daughter, Mum, please help me, please. I'm really struggling
Just within
here.
5 minutes of that vision or message from your guides, your daughter calls you in a crisis situation.
Yes. And I had to really use all my skills, like I said, all my experiences as a mother, to actually say, just stay with me.
Stay with me.
Yeah. Tap into your inner resilience. It is there. No, it's not. It is there. I want you to trust me. It took the powers of negotiation, right? And you know, 4 hours later, I said, how are you feeling now? And by the end, as you know, I use a lot of humour. Yes. Right? I said, you just tell that to back off because we're speaking. And there's a little, okay, how are you feeling
you
now?
felt a little lightness of heart returning.
Yes. I said, how are you feeling now? She says, I'm okay. I go, right, if you need to call me, right, because she was staying with her dad at the time, if you need to call me, the line's always open, you know that. So it's a blessing when you see and hold her the following day. All right.
That's phenomenal. Would you say that, I guess the lesson, one of the key lessons I guess you got from that is, from what you're saying, sometimes one needs to know which role to play.
Yes.
In which given scenario.
Yes.
One may have to adapt the role that one assumes according to the scenario that's placed in front of them.
And also it's to trust. I'm going to say to step back in order. It's giving the space.
Giving the space.
Yeah, it's giving the space for her to come forward.
So you can't be too close and too in it or too with that person.
Yes, you don't
right up against them.
You know, overprotecting.
You got to step back.
You've got to get the balance, because you can overprotect. Just doing too much can push over the edge. But you got to know, just have to step back just enough that they can just touch you.
Phenomenal.
Right? Oh,
that's so true in life.
Yeah.
In relationships, right?
Yeah.
In every scenario. I mean, how many people in romantic relationships sour those relationships because they're either too close and too choking the other person, or the other side where they're just too distant and they're just giving nothing to the other person. The other person doesn't feel anything. They're not giving enough, and you need to find that balancing point. We all need to.
Well, it's
in a relationship.
Again, if you're giving too much, right, then there's no room for that person
to reciprocate, right?
Yeah. All right. So, and then also, when we give too much, right, is what we're lacking. Yeah. What are we lacking?
Completely. Music. This is the perfect example. We're both, passionate about music. We're both musicians. To me, it's the example of a band playing together, and one of them, the pianist or the keyboard player. Hey, I've been guilty. I play piano and keyboard, and I know that there have been times when I'm a little bit too busy while we're playing that song. I just want to be busting out those chords, laying out those melody lines, and I'm kind of like, I got to the point where I got the other musicians looking at me saying, "Dude, do you want me to play here or what?" Like I'm smothering them and just overpowering the whole thing with my keyboard or piano. And you know what? When I look back at those times, you're right. You're damn right. Something was lacking in me. I felt like I wasn't getting enough validation. I felt that maybe my music is shit. Excuse my language. I actually thought my piano playing was rubbish. And I was really reaching out there because I needed somebody to tell me, hey, that's good. It's okay. It's cool. You know what? You're right. And I look back and I think, sometimes you give too much because there's something lacking. It's exactly that point.
Definitely.
And I think that same music analogy, I think, is a great way to exemplify the need to moderate as well, right? So, like, instead of, in that analogy, overplaying the piano, if I just step back, allow the instrument to breathe, I allow the other musicians to reciprocate beautifully, to allow them to express themselves, and to allow them to feel like they're having a voice.
Exactly.
I think it's about that, right? In any relationship, you want to give the other person a chance to have a voice, and you need to feel like you've got to like this conversation. So with so many screw ups in the bag, Cathy, Ma, and being a fellow, multiple screw upper, like me, like you, like many out there.
They were huge.
This is urban spirituality, man. This is imperfect spirituality. We're not here trying to pretend to be something that we're not. We're not aspiring to be something that we're not. We're trying to bring spirituality back into our lives and give our life the missing component. We're spiritual beings having the human experience, not the other way around.
Those cock-ups, as they're modules.
They're modules. I like that.
And
modules in life.
Yes, because this is the huge university.
I love that frame. Right? I love that reframe.
And
they're modules.
Yes, and some
that's a divorce. It's a module.
Yes. And some of them are flipping hard.
You get thrown out of your job or something. It's a module.
It's a module.
Because you got to go through that to get through it.
Yes, exactly. And, when you achieved graduation from a particular module.
When you come out of a module.
So it's like you have module, say, okay, I'm going to attempt because I've been given this new this brief. This is module 4, and you have a look. You think, oh man, really? Oh my gosh! Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, right? Now that module can last from any time from a day to 10 days, or even 10 years. It depends on how much you interfere. Yeah, right? And all the learning you'll experience from this module. But when you've graduated from module 4 and you step up to 5, yeah, multi-dimensional, yeah, 5th dimension, then the 9th dimension, okay, that does exist. Okay, here we go. Right. Thank you very much.
She's channeling, folks.
Right. Okay, so what they ask of us is not to remain at level 4. If you've achieved it, and then you go, thank you very much, you go to number 5, then you step up to level 5. But some people have got so used to being at level 4, they will remain there, right? But with level 5 actually interfering to say, no, come on. So then you have to say to yourself, I'm ready now to go to a higher plane.
I guess you get to that higher plane, it comes to my mind, the modules that you're referring to, they're the screw-ups.
Yes.
You refer to them as modules. So I guess what you're saying is, a screw-up is a step up.
Yes.
A screw-up is a step up
exactly
to the next step.
Can I use that?
Yes. A screw-up is a stepping stone to a step up.
Definitely.
Right? Because you elevate yourself by working through that screw-up. But I guess you don't graduate a module until you've learnt the lesson.
Yeah, and
otherwise you keep kind of repeating that module.
Yes, because trust. You got to be able to trust yourself to trust the process. Without trust, I'm a truth seeker, but if I didn't believe in the truth, pointless.
What if it's blind belief though, man? I mean, what if you feel like you got to believe? What if you don't surely know? How do you find that trust?
Oh
if you
my
still
God,
don't?
it's a knowing, it's a feeling, right?
Okay.
It's a feeling, right? You know, it's that gut instinct, that your intuition.
Okay, now you got me fired. Okay, you're talking about intuition. You're talking about gut, and I know. This is a big one for you.
Yes.
Going with intuition as a singing teacher, as a vocalist, and I've heard you speak at events. You raise this theme a lot about feeling your gut and singing, performing, conducting your life through intuition. You've already just given one tip about to our listeners out there, a life tip, right? See screw-ups as modules that we've got to pass in life. So help us out here. Give us another tip here. Specifically, how do we cultivate that intuitive voice, that inner voice that allows us to feel that gut?
Right, already it's here. It's being honest. Honesty. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. It's about being honest. And Carolyn Meyer said, we just have, so many people have difficulty in being honest. So many people, they struggle to speak the truth, right? It's not a negative, right? But it's something that holds you back. They say, right, it's a fact, right? I don't care what anyone said. The truth will set you free. Doesn't mean it's painless.
It hurts.
The truth,
it hurts.
Right? If someone's going to say you're a shite, and you're going to say what? But if you were to say, I know.
Yeah.
The person who said it's going to go, really? I know.
I think that then brings back the point you said earlier about the ego. We got to learn to find a way to get the ego out of the way. We got to step out of our own way at times. Yeah. We need to. If I heard you right, what you're saying is you've got to monitor that ego. Yes. When you think your ego is standing in front, your ego is the lock to the suitcase. Sometimes your fear, your ego is preventing you from opening that suitcase. If you can learn to put that ego outside, suspend it, diminish it, then you can receive that truth. Exactly. You can hear that truth. And that truth then can set you
free. Listen, right, liberation. The last retreat I did with a group of wonderful sisters was called Liberation, and it's about freeing ourselves, like, from the confines of our minds. But the thing is, we put ourselves there. Do we actually realise how much we lock ourselves away? Do we actually realise how much we actually interfere with our own process? Do we actually acknowledge how much baggage we carry? But if we don't check it out, you're going to realise, but hang on a minute, that's not my shit.
Wow.
That belongs to you.
Wow.
Well, how comes I got it?
We're carrying other people's suitcases.
Yes, because you didn't bother check. Right? So, you know, this is the things I do in workshops, about checking which baggage belongs to you.
Yeah.
And then by the time you finish, you thought, oh, you've got one carrier bag. Exactly.
Right, because you realise that all that other baggage wasn't even yours.
Yeah, because you see, people,
that's powerful.
We have like, we were talking about the book of life.
Right.
And each one of us was sharing this. Each one of us has a chapter, right? And within this chapter, all right, it says, oh, this chapter's about me. Yes. But then there could be auntie so-and-so or uncle this or blah, blah, blah. Said, I'm going to come onto your page. And I'm going to put some of my stuff on your page. Yeah? I thought, well, hang on a minute. My book started, that's not about me anymore. Okay. But this is about, but how comes I got this bruise? That wasn't in my story before. Why are you encroaching all this on me? Right? What were you doing? No. Take those pages off. Thank you.
Right. So people encroach. People are throwing their own stuff in there.
I learned this from Liz Cooper, who said to me when I first started my sound journey about it's important that we are all responsible for our own stories. Okay?
Powerful.
And
our own stories.
Yes. And then you've got to be mindful that your story doesn't get caught up in someone else's story. Except when you come together in a partnership, all right? But still, it's like, you got your story, Crash, and I got my story. Your story, look, we share our story because the love of music, the love of God, the love of life, yeah? And, you know, the love of communicating with people, right? So it's a stories enhance, yeah? Now this makes a new book. So you've got your story, I've got my story, but together
we've created something.
A new story, right? But you still got your story, and I still got mine.
They don't dissolve.
Exactly.
Right? Our stories remain discreet.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna is doubting the existence. The warrior Arjuna is doubting the existence of the soul. He's not sure what happens to the soul. Does it exist beyond this life? And Krishna responds saying, Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Never was there a time when you, nor I, nor all these people on this battlefield existed. Nor will there be a time when we shall ever cease to be. And that reminds us all that we have our own individuality.
Yes.
And we have our own stories.
Yes.
We can't sacrifice our story for somebody else.
Exactly.
And we can't, I'm guessing, by the same token, we can't exonerate our stories and just give them to somebody else. We can't relinquish the responsibility of our stories. I'll give my story to Cathy, you let her deal with it.
Yeah.
And she can't say, hey, as much as I may want to, I can't take your story and say, all right, I'll run with your story.
Yeah, I call that, some people, I call it dumping.
Dumping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't want to hold the responsibility for what's going on in their stories. Like, I don't like this about me, so I'm going to give this to you. Right? So then that, then that helps them, right, to be able to omit responsibility. It's like, oh, God, thank you, I feel much better. But the other person's feeling really heavy.
Right.
But you've got to be able to learn to say, no, thank you. Right?
That is the art of saying no.
Yeah, yes, so important.
The art of saying no.
But then that's the thing. How many of us have struggled with saying no?
To taking on somebody's story, to receiving that dump, to carry other people's baggage with us on our journey in life.
Yeah, but it's also, it's like, again, it's the balance and discernment.
Discernment is key.
Yeah.
I think listeners, this is important. I think it's a lesson for all of us. Hopefully our listeners, folks, you at home or in the car can recognize and appreciate this. Discernment, the ability to know when to say no, to take on board somebody's story, versus helping somebody with their story. There's a difference, right? Discerning between helping and recognizing that you're actually taking on board their story.
Yes, because it can then, if you go to the discernment and you ignore that, right, then it comes into the integrity and intention. And then with the discernment, integrity and intention, right, if you don't have those, then you'd be surprised how much you actually, when you think, oh, just helping them, yeah, but they actually, you knew they didn't want to change, so then you become egotistical in the journey.
Three things:
right?
discernment, integrity and intention.
Yes.
And I think these three factors combined are the tools,
yes,
or the keys by which one can best know how to carry one's own luggage,
yes,
and help somebody else with theirs, and how to be able to handle one's own story and not overburden themselves with another person's story.
You know what's beautiful, right? I just got this image, and this is what they do. This is so wonderful.
This is why you channel. The guides talk to you.
They said you're going up the stairs of a tube, right? Now you have a bad back, and there's someone with a heavy suitcase, and you want to help them.
Sure.
But then you got to be mindful
that you yourself.
Yeah, this discernment.
It's
right?
discernment. That's powerful.
And so you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I really want to help this person, but my back is not good. So then you have to discern, do I forget about the pain in my back and then help them up the stairs? Or do I just say, well, if I help them up the stairs, I've just come out of hospital, I'm going to put myself back in the hospital again. And then
It reminds me of the old saying, right? Discernment, discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah.
But maybe we should be saying discernment is the better part of compassion.
Yes.
We need to know how to apply compassion with some degree of discernment.
Yeah.
And that protects us. Okay, so let me ask you about... You've given us, by the way, I was going to ask you about tips. You've given us like 2 or 3 tips to take away to all the listeners here. Is there a daily ritual or a weekly ritual that you do and you think that might be of value to our listeners that they could do to actually instill some of these qualities?
Yeah. Number one, listening. Listen to your body, listen to your heart, listen to your mind, yeah, and also your heart. See, they're going back to the heart. Listen to what's in your heart. If your heart, here's one. If your heart is so full of hurt, is so full of pain, is so full, how are you going to be able to give? What is there to give? What is there? So it's like you have to make space.
To listen to your heart.
Yes, listen. So your heart saying this is, we're full, I'm full.
To listen to one's heart, is there a tool that one can use?
Take a deep breath in, and you actually go into your heart space. And then when you're able to take a clear breath, you'll take that breath in, and you'll feel that breath go right. It's like it will bypass your heart. It'll go right in, right down to your abdominal region, and you feel it come out through the soles of your feet. That's a clear breath. Right. And if you can really breathe in deep, and you do the inner breath, you don't release it outwards, you release it inwardly. You feel all that? You feel everything just opening up?
I actually do, yeah.
Yes.
The distinction is that you don't consciously breathe out through your nose or through your mouth. You just let the breath dissipate through the organs, down the throat, into the stomach. That's what you mean,
yes.
Right? I just did that. I felt it. I felt my organs expand.
Yes, you feel that.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And how long would you say one would do this in the beginning, as a beginner?
4 or 5 times. This is what,
just 4 or 5 times. That's really easy.
All this is coming through.
I love it. This is what open spirituality is all about. Practical stuff.
Do that 4 or 5 times, okay? And then that's also a way of opening up the chakras as well. Okay.
Powerful.
So important.
Folks, we'll talk about chakras on another episode. And you will come to learn of the power that we have within us. The powerhouse of
is it? I'm going to show you one. You have your Adam's apple.
Right.
Yeah. And now the base of your Adam's apple.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Just above the hollow point.
Yeah. So start talking now.
Okay. I'm just talking now. So, yeah, I notice a difference in my voice.
Right.
Okay.
I was shown, but that's where you speak your truth from that point there.
Interesting.
Can you feel anything going on within your head area as you're speaking now?
There's a little blockage.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel that.
Yes. So that's your truth. When you're in your truth, it will show you where you need to.
It's like a scan.
Yeah.
It's like a quick scan.
Yeah.
Placing that finger right there, just at the bottom of the Adam's apple, and just being mindful.
Yes.
Of what's going on in your headspace, right?
Yeah.
And if there's something uncomfortable.
Yeah. You can clear that. If you focus on that point there, right?
That same point.
Yes.
Just at the bottom of the Adam's apple.
Yeah. It will loosen. It will loosen. You'll get all, because I'm feeling now, you're around your eyes area. You get a little tightness around the eye, behind the eyes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a bit of tension going on the back, around the neck.
That'll come out.
Yeah. You'll loosen it.
This is something that we could do daily?
Yes.
Or every few days?
Focus on that point. Always. It's like, that's a daily ritual.
That's a daily ritual. Along with the breathing that we just talked about.
Yes.
Breathing 3 or 4 times.
So important.
In that way that you said, that brings us conscious.
Yes, it brings you to you, right?
Yeah, bringing ourselves to ourselves.
I always think from my heart, yeah? I don't think from the head space, all right? Because sometimes the head is doubt, bit of insecurity, but from the heart space.
And it's from that deep position in the heart. It's that...
But make room, because someone comes into your life. If your heart is full, you haven't got anything to give, right? So it's like, check in, have a look, and see, actually, I've been hanging on this for a long time, and is it really helping you?
That's where you got to check the ego and say, hey, ego, step aside for a minute, buddy. I think I'm going to need to release this thing. I'm going to leave this one behind because it's not serving me no
Exactly.
more. That's where you go through that suitcase, you rummage through that entire bundle of stuff, and you start taking stuff out and saying, I don't need this item of clothing no more. I don't need that emotion. And you start throwing it out because you don't need it. And you also create space.
Yeah, but also check to see who slipped some garments in there.
I like it.
You say,
I like that.
That's not mine.
Who stepped in? All right. There's so much we could go on and on. Quickly, give us a quick roundup summary of what you're at right now. What key project?
Yes,
are you
the main
right now?
My key project I'm passionate about. Obviously, it's working with women, and it's called Gathering Sisters.
Gathering Sisters.
Gathering Sisters. Yeah.
Okay, I know that this is a growing tribe.
Yes.
Which we're going to hear more about. Is it only exclusively for the female kind?
For now.
Okay.
Right, but what's happening is that us women are being prepared, right, and strengthened, so we can actually help the masculine to embrace the feminine within. Yeah, because I've come across men who are really struggling to even acknowledge the feminine within. Yeah, and you find some are too hot-headed, they're too cold.
I've been there. What is the key? What are the key 2 or 3 benefits of one wanting to join that tribe of Gathering Sisters?
The key benefits. Wow. 1, to actually find oneself. It's like a coming home.
Nice.
This is the Gathering Sisters.
Beautifully described.
Coming home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So much needed.
Yeah. And it's about the self-nurture, right? And it's about to truly understand, or I like the term overstand, what genuine love is, right? Because no matter whether we've had children or not, there's a mother in all of us.
And we don't need to have a romantic relationship, ladies, to feel that love, the love that you're talking about. You can hear the sirens ringing, folks.
Yes.
This is urban spirituality. We're keeping it urban. Let the sirens be a sign.
It's an emergency.
A warning sign.
Yeah, it's an emergency.
It's an emergency that we need to learn to love
Within, so important, because if you're not loving yourself, you can't be loving anybody, and there's an expectation, and by that lack of love you have for yourself, you're expecting that person to give you what you're lacking.
That doesn't fill you up. You just end up fighting over the same piece of love, and then you just, that's not helping. Okay, we can find out more through which avenues for Sisters Gathering. Wow. Is this going to be an unfolding thing? Can we catch you on the website?
My website is, by the way, the website has got last year's information.
We know you're working on it.
Yeah, but trust me, what's going to be put on there is beautiful. With the Gathering Sisters, right? And one of the keynote is girlfriend, I got my light back.
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
come on.
Definitely.
That's what we need.
And so...
Ladies, stand tall. That's what we need.
Stand tall, stand strong, and believe. There's so many of us women who are not believing in ourselves because we've given so much as mothers, right? Or as sisters, as
partners.
Yes, and we've forgotten ourselves. So when the children are grown and they've gone to uni, right? It's like you're lost. You're lost.
That's the coming home. That's where you got to go when you lose your way.
Yes.
And you think that you've lost love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you come back and say, wait,
definitely.
it's here. So
my arms are open.
Gathering Sisters will allow that.
Yes.
It's the conduit.
Yes.
It's the tribe.
Definitely.
It's the avenue through which this happens.
Yes.
And the website is transformationthroughsound.com.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only delightful and extremely honest, ass-kicking, hug-giving, soul-healing Mother Shaker, Maa Shaker, Cathy Edgar. Thank you so much for being here with us. Awesome interview.
Namaste, everybody.
And I think we're going to have to leave people with a little something.
Yeah.
And you and I are going to do this very soon.
Yes.
And viewers and listeners, watch out for a musical gift coming your way. Lots of love. Prash and Maa Shaker out. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey folks, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and as with all our episodes, found something to inform, inspire, and empower you in your spiritual and personal journeys in life. As always, if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a little love through your ratings and comments, share it with those who you care about, and take your personal and spiritual evolution to the next level by joining us on one of our events, workshops, or retreats. Find out more about us at mantratherapy.co.uk. I'm your host, Prash K. This is Urban Spirituality, and we will catch you on the next episode.